I sent you into the camp in the wilderness to slay giants like I sent my sons into the wilderness to do the same. You were amidst my enemies. I concealed my secrets amongst you in their dens of slaughter and wickedness. My spirit was in your midst, and they tried to hurt me through you, but their plans were spoiled, and their own blindness and confusion turned them on end and on their heads with each other. I broke their walls down into the nests of all infirmities. Your scourge was purged out by my hand, moving through their strongholds and denizens you mapped out in your spirit's tenure to their fate's derision. I never left or forsook those I anointed and sent forth for such a purpose as this, to come in as innocent children storming down the gates of hell. My hands were your iron fists. My heart was your courage of lions. The enemy had no power over what I had already set in motion. He was defeated there, and he will be defeated again eternally in the time to come. Make way, the gates are opening. The trumpets sound. My time has come to part the veils. The pit has already been dug. I sealed the armies of heaven with unfathomable inner motions of my own designs and designated where they should go and where they should return to, in predestined places and concurrent conjunctions and affluent affirmations. Made known unto myself, all things locked up in your spirit have not been overlooked, but hidden for my remembrance. To shine forth for my sake and glory I give to you. I led you like the earlier children of the first Exodus, and you led your own camp to the living water like Yeshua led them as a rock, and they drank from it. So you drew water and your own gifts out of the well of salvation when it was more clearer to you. As the Amalekites imprisoned you so others wouldn't have to go through another Holocaust, you were the forerunners of the end times faith builders, burning off the dross of this world. I contended with them and fought on your behalf. My love threw the legions of darkness from around you when they circled you round about, seeking to destroy you. But I destroyed their stolen treasures and tools of sorcery and kept you hidden in me as my treasures, for theirs had no power in what they sought as valuable, and instead regarded my spirit as disposable. My disposition is what salvaged you and pieced you back together, not any crafts of man, for I know the minds of man better than any man can conjure, for I made them all. The children fell away and stopped listening to the voice I put within you, stopped recognizing my authority I exercised within you, and were blind to see it within themselves. They sunk into fear and shame and were ashamed to bear my name. Their despondency is what severed the cords of union and threw you into despotism and despondency and strange natures, until you could only acknowledge and rely on the power you found in yourself and became more and more distant from me. Therefore, my covering was not found among some of you in your own distractions, and you were left to your own devices. And this wrinkle in time I did not stitch, I did not mend, for you had to come to repentance of what was and what is, to see the needle in the eye again and come back through the loop, to keep the mission in plain sight. You saw a different sky, a different background, a different way, and started walking away from me, but I never let you go. I only sat in observance. The wrinkle in time and hole that was left in this pocket of space that Satan punched through as he brought up his hordes left an indent on your psyches and in this world's soul ascension patterns, for much hope was lost in that slip. What was bruised and injured in the process can be untarnished and unfrozen and unlocked still. Only my love can melt the traumas, your stubbornness, your hardened natures, and your inability to find a reason. And when your hearts fall back into line with me, I will show you the order of how and where and why I commissioned you to stand in such a place and time as this, for what my purposes were, and what is on the horizon, not your own. If you would but seek my face daily, this will happen. Continually fall before me, and you will be found. Those who fell into illusion was because of the holes in their armor that spellcasters forged a way into. Their amnesia is the bane of fragmentation, like a needle injecting poison into a system that then runs aberrations within itself. When they stopped loving me and crying out to me in silence was heard for intervals and periods in heaven. As you will know, the deeper silence that Yeshua holds in his return that you long to hold your breath for before you came into the formations of this world even, and long to see, experience, and know, and hold in your own created spaces. If but only for a moment, I only locked memories of pain up as to allow the grander scheme to play out so those parts could continue to have alms met that were burning on the altars of heaven. All was heard and no part went unaccounted for. Your work was not meant to be done in vain. Their innocence will be restored unto them, and I will flood them with my spirit, if they would but trust in me again, and I would send my angels to collect their tears, as I did when they were young, and when they'd pour their hearts out to me like baby birds, day and night, in supplication, and they wouldn't let the enemy interrupt their time with me and enter their minds so easily. They received my portion. They received my solace, my outstretched hand, my comfort, my consolations, and my care when no one could save them or rescue them. My tender mercies were always open to them at every waking moment. I was their father from the beginning, and I will always be their father until the end of their age, and all ages. The degree of difficulty in their earthly appointments won't be fully realized until all souls are accounted for in the last and final harvest. My garden is alive, and my Eden has never ceased. You are but trees here that need watering and to grow. Some fell on hard soil, and some fell on receiving ground, but all sow the same until its full measure. I know my seeds and where they fall, and in whose hands they're in, and being gathered. And if you are mine, no one will be able to snatch you out of my hand. I know every detail about my seeds. I know how to tend to them and grow my garden, as I am its keeper and the maker of it, and the love that holds it together. Do you not think I can't see the weeds around my own creations, the worms that try to eat them alive, the storms that are forecasted over them, or the winds that try to blow them down or incite changes that I did not sanction? I am the storms, and I am the maker of heaven and earth. Have you reverted to ignore the obvious and bury your heads in the sand, as to not look at what is right above you and before you and within you? I am sick of calling for my children who are wayward and full of suffering, when the net that they are ensnared in is of their own accord. I grow my body in love, and I appointed its members to be fit for the kingdom, so I can wear them as jewels and crowns when they have cleansed themselves from the wreckage of this world. For I don't wear imperfections or sins, and I cast them off of me. So the crowns you cast at my feet must not be spoiled or rusty or ill-sounding. For I am the healer of all things and make all things new. I have reserved my plans for you in the outlines of the passion of the kingdom. Set the fires back into your hearts and tend to them to be pillars of standing flames. Then the passion of that love that is in the heart of God will reveal itself to you. But no one can see this who has not walked through fire, been baptized with water, and has new breath enamoring their creature. I will not wait much longer, and this world will come to full realization of who I am soon. Prepare to meet your Maker. The Messiah they have thrown by the wayside is not down. The blood they've trampled over is not dead, but resounds, and is transformed into my holiness. And rectifications like bars of iron to break the teeth of the wicked. With his advent, he has been prepared before time even was, and you will hear the final redemption of all life into my perfect will and my perfection of holy forms. As this world cannot continue in disarray of the Son's image, nor dismember or detach itself from the plans that I laid before it when it was only also just a seed in my mind's eye and a mere thought form, let your eye be single with my glory to come, and all the glories I will lay out before you. We chose to construct a divine place where evil would never have a foothold, so my foot could finally rest fully upon the matter that I rolled out before me, impermanence. I will complete the world with my zeal and fortifications, erected in the pillars of heaven itself, and no camp or army can ever disturb what I seal up as my own. My house is a house of order, and there are many rooms, in fact, enough rooms for the whole human family to come in. But the dream they choose to live out without me will ensure their final severing snare and cut them off from my portion and partitions of the grace I have extended for many seasons to them. Nor will they have my final rest, but another. My mercies have been abundant, and they were made manifest in and for those who merited them. My love has always been enduring, as is shown in your characters and personalities. You reflect them. It is the fabric of what you see and how I knitted life together. It was never born out of your own sufficiency or imaginations. If you would but heed to my blessed assurance, you would know and see that the windows of heaven were always open for you and have been waiting for your acknowledgement through the promptings of the Holy Spirit and the messengers I've sent to you to encourage you and position you to look and see, petitioning yourselves, and to be peeking into and peering into the heavens so you could open your hands up to me and speak to me again, because I was always there, watching and anticipating your happiness and victories, no matter how small they seemed to you. You were and only are conquerors through my Son, Yeshua of Nazareth. The songs of the ascents are continually burning before me, as Moses sang the songs of the Lamb above the sea and the songs of lamentations. And he knew it in his heart before it was ever spoken of or replayed back to you. It is a song of remembrance. Those who stand on the seashores will have the songs of all creation burning in their veins and steaming their bones, renewing the very marrow they stand on, so that they melt back into my open arms. I am ready to receive them as this world is now ready to receive its judgment. My children are precious, no matter what walk in this world they've had. In the sight of heaven, they're magnified before they even come home. They are the ones who make the lens clearer and easier to bear the weight of the world through, although my Son bore it all upon himself. Wash yourselves clean of this filth and debris and mud and refuse that stains others, for others will not touch you whom this world has defiled, nor stay anywhere near you, for they won't be able to withstand your presence soon, and they will flee from you or try to attack you, but I will protect you. Stay in your full anointings and step into them. Abide in me. Step up to what I spoke into your being and declared your spirit and soul's framework to master and level out. Your inheritance is my joy. Your joy will be my inheritance. I have loved you with an everlasting love and have been true and am the truth in all things. I put everything into its perfectedness, and wholeness as best as you can see it fit. I can see the rest and the outer edges. Don't let a shadow of doubt dissuade you from seeing your own masterpieces come together in a life you've never seen, come together fully, a dance you've never danced and a feast you've never had. Rejoice on the completion of all things and what complements every angle of my being's vision. Your sight is narrow. Be strong and of good courage that comes with faith in the pattern of all heavenly things I placed within your hearts. Your hearts will replace any shadow, and you'll swim back to my lighthouse, which is the treasury, the treasures and storehouses beyond anything this world could give you. I've known you before the beginnings of everything. I have made myself known to you already, so you need not ask. You need to step one foot in front of the other, and remember that the great I am is who I really am. Home is where my heart is, and my heart has called you out long before this time. Listen closely, and you will understand how to be with me forever. Beyond the bush, behind the fire, above the lofty heights, and below everything you put under your feet, since I set your feet into motion in the first place and anointed them to go where you have already gone. Your walk was not in vain, and you have went where angels fear to tread and served with them, alongside them. Come to reconciliation now, the sanctified, the set apart, the chosen, the elect, the consecrated vessels, and all my groups are lights in this dark world still, but I am the power in that stillness, and know that I am God. And you will be the stones on which I set my city on the hill with. The sun of glory I reserved under the throne's light will be the lamp to shine on you, as my Aaronic blessing says. And then on that day and on that time and in that moment and hour that only I know, it will become and be face to face.